There are several signals telling us that CLNV may be at its macro floor, and we could be seeing also a macro higher low, particular to the monthly chart. Let's go over the statistics as we have some serious signals that may be telling us that we can see an upside soon, and beyond that, some manipulation located by our algorithm. Let's go over those details now. What is up, you guys? Thank you so much for stopping by. Once again, this is ARCa coming at you with a CLNV technicals, raw price action, and statistical threat of analysis on this, what is it, Hump Day Wednesday. My goodness, we already made it, team. Good job to everybody for getting here and surviving the gritty stock market. Man, everything actually came down crazy in the broader markets, didn't it? But we have some very important things to talk about here, team. And yes, I also did speak about the composure algorithm that we actually just released, and it's part of a indicator set, right? So we noticed that there are several iterations of manipulation happening, right? And you can actually tell that by these yellow X's, right? So you can see here so many times that this asset has actually been manipulated to the way down, and our algorithm has been able to identify some of those iterations. So if we're going to focus on first on the monthly time frame, let's go ahead and do that, team. This is going to be a video full of incredible information. I would highly recommend that you watch the entire thing, because we have statistics, we have psychology, we have geometrics. Everything is suggesting potential upside and current floor. Okay, first of all, we got the signal on the CLNV monthly chart here. We were talking about this breakout from this falling wedge, right? The falling wedge is naturally a bullish formation, right? So what we were looking for is the breakout out of this, and then the retest of our newly converted resistance, what was a resistance actually, into a support before a continuation onwards, right? So as you can see here, we just started the new monthly iteration, right? Just a couple days ago. And this monthly here closed upside of the wedge top and testing that support very, very accurately. Okay, so we've been keeping an eye on this for a few months easily, right? So we were kind of waiting for this to happen already. So that's already one signal that's telling us that we could be at a potential floor, and there could be some type of something to look out for. Maybe an upside, maybe, I don't know. Let's just go ahead and continue the validation process here. Next chart. Okay, so this is a broadening descending wedge, or a descending broadening wedge on the 12-hour chart that I did notice. Let me go ahead and get rid of the composure algorithm and show you what's happening here. Okay, so now when you're trading this formation, traditionally speaking, we need about 3 tests or 4 tests of the resistance, aka called the golden rule of 3, before a true breakout on test number 4 or 5. To break out officially from the top side of the wedge, right? So please look at this here. So we have test number 1, we have test number 2, this is 3, this is test number 4, cleanly breaking outside. And what do you think we're doing now, right? So there could be a potential here that we are setting up for a true breakout on test number 5 right over here. Okay, so now I can't tell you if there's you guys already know that I practice mathematical concepts. I'm a systematic trader, quantitative trader. I do not worry about fundamental metrics, but in this case, I don't know if there's something in line here for CLNV, but it's showing in the charts that there is a potential floor and upside coming in. So if you know, please go ahead and let me know in the comments what that catalyst can be, right? So now, if we are prepping that upside break on test number 5, then yes, we'll essentially I can give you the play, traditionally speaking, right? So potential retouch of the floor, right? Maybe 231. We get that breakout over the next few days, weeks, whatever it is, right? We'll face a relevant area of resistance, which could likely be actually right about here at about 381, right? So several areas right here suggesting the 381 top side, right? After getting that 381, we would come back down and start validating the newly converted resistance into now support, right? So as soon as we get that support validation, we can make an upside thrust here, and then, look for some upper targets. Of course, we're going to zigzag our way up, but that would essentially be the traditional way of trading this formation. Okay, now the formation take profit, of course, per the traditional rules on the trading book or the playbook. Right here, here is the take profit at the genesis of the formation. Okay, we can go ahead and just note it down like that, and that would essentially suggest that 502 would be the take profit from this formation. Okay, team, I'm not saying we're going there. I'm telling you that this is just traditionally how it's traded. Okay, so let's go ahead and move on to the next target, to the next topic here. Okay, so yeah, so we were talking about potential manipulation happening here with this ticker, right? So incredible how it was noticing that this would the red I'm sorry, the red diamond tells us that there could be a continuation to the way down and also a potential sell-off, right? So and also the X marks off an impulsive sell-off as well. So we were already getting those and confirming that way down. Now a manipulation signal came on, right? So then we got another manipulation signal and it sold off all the way to the bottom side, and then we actually popped to the upside here for God knows what reason, right? Now, the blue triangle that you're seeing here, that is the composure algorithm telling you that this is the end of a current trend. Whether it be to the upside or the downside, it will tell you when that trend is nearing its nearing its maturity, right? So here, you definitely got that blue triangle, and it was very much correct. And then we got a blood diamond telling us that there could be an immediate sell-off and continuation to the way down, of which it definitely got. Okay, so it's reading it pretty well. So this thing telling us that there is some manipulation here. I guess I could see some type of event happening just like this, right? Potential sell-off, come back down and test that 231, the bottom side, literally this bottom side from the range, or lower. I mean, I don't know, right? So we would get that bottom side and then use it as a type of shakeout, right? Or a spring before an upside continuation. So that it's very curious that it is telling us that, right? That there is manipulation happening and there is a continuation to the downside here based on those red diamonds. Okay, so now another way that we can validate is with the other ARQ algo. It is telling us, and it's still respecting the short signal printed right up here, right? So this algorithm does have that magic sauce for the upside and downside. So you can see here, it longed us from that position of about 640. It had us take profit right at about 1055. I mean, it really is just as simple as that, right? The algorithm for a 65% move, not bad, right? So this is just to show that the algorithms are showing, they are showing some I mean, critical use here. And like I said, we still haven't printed any type of long signal just yet, right? So I would honestly have to respect it. So let's go ahead and continue on the analysis here, because this is where it's going to start getting super, super juicy. Okay, team. So now this is the 12-hour volatility versus momentum backtest here. And it's, I have to tell you that I have performed, I redid the 12-hour backtest and also the 3-day backtest. Right. So in this case, you're looking at the 3-day from expansion of volatility, from critical expansion, right? So anytime that volatility has expanded into critical and started a contraction phase paired with an upside pivot on stochastic momentum, I have taken note of every time that iteration has happened, right? So including the duration of the iteration, the upside thrust, and the amount of times that the profile of volatility versus momentum guessed the upside correctly versus incorrectly, both on the 3-day and on the 12-hour throughout the entire trading history of the asset. Okay, and I've also calculated the, statistically speaking, I've also calculated the standard deviation and the upper bound and lower bound of the first standard deviation from both of these, from both of the average moves, right? So let's go ahead and go over some of those conditions now. Okay, so first of all, we have a macro breakout. We already saw that, testing the bottom side of the triangle right up here, right? Right over here, finding that floor. Now, if we jump into this chart here, you can actually see that we are also breaking out of this macro descending channel, right? So, and we are coming right back. We already tested that support, the newly converted resistance into support. So this would essentially be that macro double bottom, right? So that could help for a potential upside. Now, the criteria does mean that anytime that on this particular back test, right, the criteria is quite the opposite from the 3-day. instead of it being from critical expansion. This one is from critical contraction. And this is already expanding, right? And it's kind of showing that ebb and flow here. We are now starting to get an upside pivot on stochastic momentum without the volatility actually reaching any of the areas of extremities, right? So if it did reach an extremity, that would invalidate the move, but it hasn't. So this is still in essence expanding. And if that's the case, then we are still within an iteration. And what I do have to say as well is that this has an average of 47.30 days to realize. Right, so I'm not saying that we're there already, but we can actually check. This is the firing of the signal right back here on July 13th, 2023. So where are we? We are at 20 days from the 47 days from the signal of the fire from the firing of the signal. Sorry. So we're still within the bounds of it and potentially finding a floor. So which is already very curious to me. Okay, so now if we were to consider some upside moves from this, because we already had that signal fired, we're increasing volatility, coming at a critical contraction, and we have that upside pivot on stochastics. Okay, so the first move, out of 10 total iterations right here throughout the entire trading history, these purple ones are the new addition, so I had to correct the original statistics. We have 10 correct. 10 that have been guessed correctly to the upside out of the 10. Of course, that's 100% perfect right now, but eventually it's going to vary, right? So that gives us an average upside thrust, aka a mean of 145.73% over the span of about 47.30 days. Standard deviation measures 121.62%. If you are familiar with statistics, I am speaking about the 68% of the results or 68% of the performers are landing within 122.62%. To the upside from the firing of the signal, which is the signal fired from 280. Okay, so from 280 we got that signal fired. Actually, hold on just a sec. Nope, actually the signal fired from 328. Okay, so yeah, and that's entirely okay. The signal firing from 328 just means that we would have to measure the mean upside, the standard deviation upside, the lower bound upside of the first standard deviation, and the upper bound of the first standard deviation upside. Okay, so I took the three most relevant ones. Okay, so the first one, of course, this would be honestly the one that we have to focus on first before we can make a crazy move to the upside. Okay, that is taking us to a level of about, let's look to the right of the screen, and that's telling us about 405. Okay, so that's already pretty high, and that's telling us that that would be the lower bound of the first standard deviation, right within here, right? It's giving us that move of 24.11%. The upper bound of the first standard deviation is giving us, right up here, is giving us a 267.352% to the upside, leading up to this target here. That's about 1189. Of course, we can't be looking at those targets just yet. They are not relevant. It's just part of the signal that's fired and is giving us these statistics on the average performers, right? So now the other relevant target that I took into consideration here was the 145.73% average mean, right? So that's taking us to a target of about 804. Now, I did note a couple things here. The weekly reversion variant, which is one of my indicators, a personal one. The weekly reversion variant, there is confluence there. Okay, so let's go ahead and look at the weekly time frame reversion variant, and you can see right up here that this is about right at the center of this is around 388. Okay, and this is telling us that the top side that we're looking at, it's 405. So that's very, very close to it. And this means that we are in a process of a reversion to the mean, right? So it's very, very interesting that we're getting the mean right up here, and that is a normal area for us to find resistance, pullback, and continuation. So in this case, we already got that reversion here. We got the pullback, and then we could actually test this again and maybe consider a continuation to the upside. Okay, next thing to look at within this is this particular target. The 145% to the upside has also a biweekly reversion variant top band confluence. I'm sorry. The 24.99% at the 405 also has the daily Gaussian mean top band as let's see. let's see what was it again? Let me I got distracted by this signal over here. I forgot what the heck just happened. Right, so let's go back to that. Yeah, right here, right over here. So the daily. Okay, so we go to the Gaussian band daily, and it's saying the top band. So the top band right here landing at 429 as well. So this is a statistical indicator, right? The Gaussian bands, and this is it's similar to Bollinger Bands, but this is it takes a different metric based on the mathematician Gaussian, right? So in this case, yeah, we are getting a pretty nice confluence signal right at the top band of this, which honestly would pull us back down to 362 before a continuation onto the upside. So nice. We already have a heavy amount of confluence here. Biweekly reversion top band confluence to the 145% move to the upside, which is 804. Let's go ahead and take a look at that, right? So that is the biweekly. So biweekly here on the reversion variant, top band located right at about 903, and it was giving us an 804 target. So just under a cent, we're getting this confluence from the top side of the bands here. So all of these signals are telling us that, with high confluence, that they're more than likely, they can be hit if the conditions are continuing here. Okay, now the upper I'm talking about the upper bound of the first standard deviation, 267% to the upside, also has confluence. So that's a 1189 target. We go to the biweekly Gaussian band, right? Let's go to the biweekly. And just go back really fast and tell us, let's see, top band. So the top band right here, check it out, 1139. What do you know? That's all that stuff is rhyming real well, and we're already knocking at the door of this of the Gaussian top, right? So, yeah, there could be something in line here. I'm not sure what it is, but there is something. It's looking attractive, to say the very least. Okay, of course, we can face a continuation to the downside at any moment, but I'm just trying to give it to you like that. Okay, team. So now let's go over really fast over here. The 3-day. The 3-day has some macro targets. Okay, these are macro targets for us to take into consideration here, because they would happen after we would get this validated, right? The top side moves here from the 12-hour critical contraction to expansion. This would be the macro moves. This is the 3-day critical expansion to contraction. And we have 7 iterations, of which 3 were guessed incorrectly. That gives us a 70% upside accuracy with an average mean, or an average thrust of 4,300%. We do have a standard deviation of 5,500% with an upper bound of the first standard deviation at a massive 10,000% to the upside. So this is entirely conditional within the 12-hour, so for it to complete. Lower bound of the first standard deviation coming up to 1,079, spot 60%, which would be honestly the first target to look at upon validation of the 12-hour backtest. This is giving us a target of 1283. It's very familiar because we just spoke about the top side being at 1189 here, 12 cents pretty much at the upper bound of the first standard deviation performers. Okay, so even the back tests are giving us some confluence here, and all of these back tests have high confluence too. The quarterly, the 3-month chart reversion top band, it has confluence directly with the top band at 211, right? Which is also $2.11. That's massive, right? We can't even look at that right now. The weekly reversion variant mean, the mean band, the center band, has a lot of confluence here with the top side of this backtest coming up to 44 cents, right? The semi-annual, the 6-month chart, the reversion variant mean band has confluence with this target here of about 4,000%, which is exactly the upside thrust. And another thing is that this criteria does take 84.142 days on average for it to complete. Now, from the firing of the signal that happened on December 15th to the current moment right now, we are actually at about 229 days, way beyond the average duration. But the date range is not uncommon. Please take a look at this over here. Let's go ahead and take a look at them right here. 219-day iteration for it to complete. 117 days for this one to complete over here. right? 72 days there, 99 days there. So you can see that there is high variance within this. And we could, I mean, look at this one, took 5 days to realize, right? We have an enormous amount of variable. Okay, so I just want to point it out like that, team. I want to be able to have you be, just being aware, all right? We can just call it aware. All right, team. So now what I'm seeing here overall in the RSI, I can't even tell you what could happen in the next day because we have up, we have sideways, we have up, we have sort of up right here, we have down, down, and down. These all are signs of just indecision and also consolidation, which is a great thing and also a signal that we may have potentially found a floor since it's not suggesting for us to capitulate further down. Of course, we can always come down to any further targets, right? In this particular case, I can easily see that we may be able to make a move down to 213, even down to about 192, right? But this is already finding a potential floor. And I guess one more little potential silly thing here is that if I can just top it all off with a cherry, we have inverted head and shoulders too, currently being built. Okay, so, and yeah, that does have kind of an upside target of, around 57 cents or whatever, but we can look at that. That target of 57 cents is sharing confluence with the center of the triangle too. So you take the price objective like that. From here, all the way down here, you take a trend line, apply it to the breakout candle, which is here, and it would take you upside to that, to a similar target up there. In this case, I'm sorry, the medium area would be about 20 cents, but the top side area here, which is similar to this, the head to the neckline, that would be this target here, right at about 62.92. Okay, team. So I'm not saying that we're going there. I'm just telling you that we may have found an area for us to consolidate and chop around before we can really make a serious push to the upside, because all of it, conditionally speaking, it is there. Okay, so if there's any time that CLNV could, do something about something, it would be around now, because this is the support, this is the macro bottom. We're in for a ride. I'm sorry, team, for this video to take so long. This was just a massive back test for me to actually take care of, and I wanted to provide it for the community, and I hope that it does find you well, and it does provide you some really good information. I do have to remind you to please do not take anything that I show within these videos as any type of entertainment, okay, team? This is not financial advice, okay? I need you to do your own due diligence, and everything will be cool. I cannot suggest for you to buy, sell, or hold any asset whatsoever, okay, team? But with that said, I wish you well. Very good night, and I'll catch you at the bell mañana. Adios.